Hello and welcome to the absent Kraken.
Hello.
Hello.
Around the table we have
Tyney.
And
Slow-mo SiFi. And we're back again to talk about all things nerdy
Yeah.
and the greatest show on earth, that is
Loot.
Loot, yeah.
Loot and Airecon.
Yeah.
Which didn't occur to me was named after a river at all, whatsoever.
Really, I thought the guy who said it was just Irish.
No.
I didn't realise either until Time told me, and I was like, oh.
Like the river that runs in Yorkshire is called Aire, isn't it?
Oh.
There's the Swale. That runs in Yorkshire. But yeah, we've come back from Airecon. I've actually just realised I've popped this on camera, but we didn't get this at Airecon.
Oh.
But it's still worth talking. We always talk about it. There's lots of little things. There's so much stuff we have to rotate it on. And this is not a brag. This is just us playing homage to Airecon, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which was it number 5?
Yep.
Yeah, it was
Airecon 5.
Which it doesn't actually say on the front there, but
Says on my mug cover.
Yeah. Says on the mug, which was
Which
a
I'm
really
not
good
sure
one.
because I've got tea in it. I'll just spill it all over.
Yeah. Look at this.
we'll be right back. There was people showing off Age of Sigmar champions.
Yeah.
There's the new Warband pack, which was, I think it was the first weekend it was out.
Yeah, I think it came out on a Friday.
Yeah. So I managed to pick that up. You guys got a few decks, didn't you?
Yep, so I picked up the Death one, and Tiny picked up Orda.
Yeah.
And you already had a Destruction one
I
as
got
well.
this for Christmas, but I've not yet opened it.
Yeah.
No, just,
Have you opened up the booster packs inside?
no, not even.
Really? Blooming hell.
I opened me Death one, have a look, and I couldn't work out what I was looking at.
I got a Nagash in foil. I don't know if it's any good.
You were looking going,
I was looking, going, can I put this in a deck? How does deck building work?
It made sense once you googled it, though.
Yeah.
Once I spent about 20 minutes googling.
It's 4 of any card, is that correct? Apart from
3.
Is it 3? Is it?
3 of any card, I believe, and you can have heroes as long as they're not unique.
Yeah.
And they're going to be up to so many points.
Yeah.
But it didn't tell me where the points were.
I believe it's 30 or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm sure the starter rules in there will tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I tried looking and stuff, it
right.
wasn't very clear.
I think I ended up googling it as well. So Airecon, a brief synopsis of it is it's a board game convention, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is, yeah. In the lovely Harrogate.
Harrogate. Well,
I won't say lovely.
lovely.
I like Harrogate.
Harrogate is a nice place.
You
It's
don't like the one-way
just
system.
I don't like it when people design a one-way system. That is stupid.
Oh, so you've been to Leeds then, have you?
Once, yeah.
Fucking hate Leeds. One-way system.
Yeah.
I'll put that in there at the end.
It's some one-way systems are fine, but when you literally want to actually go 20 feet in one direction, but you have to go all around Harrogate the other way to get to it, you're like, why?
Yeah.
Just do like everyone else and build roads
Who
properly.
knocked the table?
It's not me, because I'm...
Somebody has knocked the table already because the camera's off.
That might be the doggo.
We will make him suffer. You have our promise.
Naughty doggo.
So, what did you guys think of Airecon? Because we're sort of UK Games Expo goers, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm a war gamer.
Oh, sure.
So, a war gamer and a card gamer. And I'm not a It was nice. I loved it. It was really friendly. The entrance was a piss about.
Yeah.
All they needed was a sign outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do agree with that, yeah. Sort of like the queue system wasn't it mental? We got lost in the queues, didn't we?
Yeah, they had a queue which was to go in, but then a separate queue to go get your tickets, where you then had to then come out and join the other queue.
Yeah, and then when you got to the front of the queue, you had to split into another queue.
Yeah.
It was like the queue of many hydras.
It was just insane. It didn't help we went at the wrong entrance at one point. We went in the wrong entrance and got bag checked, and then they went, oh, do you not have your lanyards? No. Oh, you got to go down there? Well, could you not?
But you're not a security threat though.
You're not a security threat. And then we got to the thing and I went, can I bag check you please? I've just been bag checked. Don't care. I want to bag check you.
I got to the front of the queue. Well, got near the front of the queue and was like, "Oh, you have to be in that queue to buy the tickets for the day." Sidestepped, and the security guard just didn't even blink an eye. And he didn't check my bag or anything. But everybody else, he was like proper militant about it.
Got one of those kind faces.
We all know that's a lie.
But other than that, it was a nice event.
It was
Nice and
really
casual.
casual. Yeah, it's good.
It was. Certain bits of it were a bit busy. I didn't get to see all the games that were on offer, but then again,
We did not check out the library or the demo zone at all.
No,
Really?
we didn't. Or go anywhere near the RPG zone.
That too.
They
They are thinking of putting the demo zone and the RPG zone somewhere quieter for next year, and then making the bring and buy sale leisure, because they did know that.
oh
everyone's
god,
buying.
yeah, that bring and buy sale, you had to like pretty much like shoulder barge past people,
Yeah, it was.
and the fact that you couldn't pay by card. Sure, that saved me £90, but they missed out on £90, which they probably did get from somebody else for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I did go back and it was sold.
Oh, it's a shame.
Um,
That's Gloomhaven. Yeah,
Yeah,
I am really desperate to play that game.
Mm.
Then again, I was watching Total War Live play because they do tabletop things now and again. Then they were doing Arkham Horror, the board game.
Oh yeah.
God, what an absolute clusterfuck that was. Not because they didn't know what they were doing. It's just because one of the lasses' mics wasn't working, so you couldn't hear what she was saying. And then now and again they just kept, because Arkham Horror and Cthulhu based games are pretty
Long.
and severe. It's like, oh, everything's going wrong. It's like that picture of the dog sitting there in the middle of a fire going, this is okay.
Yeah. That is actually the easiest way to explain Arkham.
Yeah. And it still looks like an interesting game to me, but I think I need to play it a few times before trying, like, if we ever did do a video.
It's I remember trying to play the Arkham Horror 2nd edition with all the expansions, which fills a full table
Yeah.
of just all of the boards. So you've got nowhere to put your actual player stuff, and it takes the day to do. And you spend the entire day playing it, and then one card comes out and you lose, and you're like, well, oh my.
Oh my! Well, it's George K just pops out the box and goes,
it's like, oh my. But yeah, the new one's meant to be quite nice. It takes a lot on from Arkham Horror LCG, from what I've seen.
yeah.
Brings in the chaos back.
The thing that I've seen as well, sorry, I'll keep adjusting the camera now and again.
It's fine.
There was lots of components, like lots of separate decks, and it's like I would need somebody else to keep track of all that because I won't be able to do it.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing with the Arkham games. Every Arkham game has got hundreds of little decks, all doing different things and stuff like that. Like each spell has its own separate deck of
Yes.
like about 4 or 5 cards, and you get a random one out of that deck, and it's 2-sided. One side is the spell and the other side is the effect,
Yeah.
and then you shuffle it back into your deck and then you get one again.
Okay.
Which is really interesting because you never know how your spell's going to go off, but it means you've got lots of components.
There was one or two things that I saw as well where there was cards and you read the front side of it, and then there was the back side of it which you weren't allowed to read until something went wrong.
Yeah.
And it got very... There was one person who was trying to read the back of it, and he was like, yeah, I think the guy who was the community manager for them pretty much had to like steal it off her.
That's a very me thing to do.
Yeah.
I'll read that.
I've increased the sharpness of the video so it actually looks semi better.
Yeah.
Because I was looking at that on camera
Yeah.
and it just didn't look right.
Now it's pretty sharp.
Yes. Flesh Eater Courts, which I don't think they were actually called Flesh Eater Courts when that deck was released.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's a new book that got released, which essentially gathers up all the ghouls.
Oh.
So Airecon, final verdicts, or
You were talking about your little Keyforge event that you did?
I came first in after Swiss in a 12-man Keyforge tournament.
Yay!
And it's refreshing because it was very relaxed. There was 1 or 2 people there when they sat down. I'm like, oh god, they're serious. I must look serious as well because I was planning on playing Keyforge on Sunday. I had everything packed in my bag, so I had all my tokens and everything.
Yeah.
But I got this lovely deck, which the glare just completely nuked there, and you can't actually see it.
Almost.
Well, I'll read it out. The Cursing Devil, Duke of Spiketown.
Ooh.
Not
a master either.
Yeah,
Oh.
Dis Untamed Sanctum. It's got some nice cards in it. It's got some nice little answers in it, but it's not. I still wouldn't say it's a good deck.
Alright.
Yeah.
So there was 4 rounds of best of 1. The first guy I played, he doesn't play very often. I think the deck that he opened to play in the tournament was his 3rd actual deck.
Oh wow.
Oh.
The second guy I played was his friend, who again doesn't get to play very often, and it was a very close game, very very good game. The next game is somebody that I've played before in L5R, a fellow Unicorn player, but I think he said he dropped L5. He stopped playing L5R because of a change or something. But that game was really close. Quite literally, there was 1 amber in it.
Yeah.
There's the discard. It's a 5-cost creature. Has the action to steal things.
I'm trying to remember now.
Pit Lord?
I think it's something
I
like
think Pit Lord steals, doesn't he? Steals 2, doesn't he?
No, just
that. No.
Pit Demon. Sorry.
They do.
So quite literally, I played him down. The guy got 6 amber and went, I'll have one of them. I got 6 amber and he couldn't steal it back.
Oh.
That was quite literally the end of the game.
That's really close then, isn't it, actually?
That is
Yeah.
really close.
The 4th game against another good lad. Very close again, but there was a point where there's a combo in that deck, and if you can pull it off right, it is just silly. Because it's got Hexcomb in the deck, so essentially you destroy every disc creature on the field, then the owner gets amber.
Yeah.
So if you've got 4 disc creatures down, you can go Reap, Hexcomb, destroy them all, get another 4 amber.
Yeah.
Then if you've got Gateway to Dis in hand as well, you just go, and there's no downside to me doing this.
That is really good, yeah.
I think I pulled that off against him, and quite literally after that he just couldn't recover.
Yeah.
Then it went to the top 4, which was best of 3, but you play with your deck, then you switch decks, and if there's not a clear winner there, you then bid on one of the decks to bid chains on one of the decks, which is an interesting way of doing things. I got paired with the person who came 4th. The person who came 4th then dropped. The person who came 5th decided to drop, and the person who came 6th then stepped up to fill in the 4th place, which good on him. And he put down a deck that countered everything my deck did. There just wasn't any. First game we played, he just walked over me. Second game, because I was using his deck, I walked over him. And the third game, I just went, I'm not that fussed. I've had a day. I'll use my deck. You use your deck. By the official rules, he still had to bid a chain on his deck to get his deck. We then played, and he stomped all over me. I think in one turn he got something daft like 16 amber in one turn.
Oh.
And it's just like, okay, there's not enough steel in my deck or stall in my deck to stop you doing it that. So he went into the finals against the lad that I played in the 4th game, and I actually don't know who won because I think I came to find you guys.
All right.
I just they threw this pretty amber at me.
Big old bag of amber.
That glare on that bloody light. God, that's going to be annoying when we're recording card games.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hope the guy who I had played in the 4th round won because he was generally a really good player. Not saying the guy that I lost to wasn't a good player, but I I think there was just that one turn where I just had everything right.
Yeah, that's sometimes what it is, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
And then you run into decks that just completely counters everything you do. So. But yeah, it was fun. The guy who running it was very laid back, and
Yeah, it was.
he had the rules to hand at all times, so it ran really smoothly.
It was the only event, wasn't it? There was no other.
There's meant to be one on Friday, but I don't think they ended up running one.
Yeah.
The stack of chain tracker he had like a stack like that of chain trackers, and he was just like, how many people are you expecting? Well, I think they had tables set up for 36 players.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, because they had must have had 18 tables,
Mm.
but they never. Obviously, there wasn't 36 people there. There was 12.
I walked past. I was like, "What the heck?"
Well, I think there was 12 people signed up, and then I think one person didn't actually bother.
Oh.
So you sat there going, you paid your tenner there. Why didn't you come back for the tournament?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh dear.
It's been mad. Unless he pulled his deck and he was like, it's a double horseman. I'm leaving.
Oh, would you though?
I suppose you could just go sell it. At
Apparently,
least get your tenner back.
well, they said they gave you your decks when you paid your £10, but then they go, don't open it until you get back here and everybody can see. And I'm like, okay.
I'll just go buy all the Keyforge decks around and then pick one.
Yeah, I didn't open mine. I didn't open mine until they told us to. But yeah, I don't know why they just didn't hold off until everybody was sat down.
Yeah.
It's a very strange way of doing things.
Really is.
Very trusting.
Yeah.
Very
Good
trusting.
Yorkshire trusting.
But yeah, I didn't. Well, was there any other events on that weekend?
No, that's what I mean.
No.
There was no Star Warsy things. There was no.
There was RPG things, wasn't there?
Yeah, it was that.
There was lots of RPG sessions.
And of course there was all the demo sessions, but there's no like competitive things.
No, there's no competitive games. It was just that one keyboard event.
Yeah.
You know, I raised issue with the fact that there wasn't anybody selling any Final Fantasy.
Yes.
When you said Star Wars just now, there wasn't anybody selling any Destiny.
I did not see any Destiny.
There wasn't a single Destiny booster. I would have thought there would have been at the Travelling Man stand.
At least a booster box.
At least like boosters, yeah, but there was
Yeah.
Not many boosters, to be honest with you. Like, was that the glass case one?
Oh yeah, but they were Star Realms, weren't
Yeah,
they?
it was Star Wars. Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, well, Star Realms isn't really a game that requires boosters. It's just an expansion they put in a pack that looks like a little booster pack
Yeah.
because they like the style. They want it to be like
As was the style in the day.
yeah. They want it to feel like you're opening a booster and getting something, but each one.
No, disappointment.
Everything's the same, so it's
So like those on the Bring and Buy, there was 2 Final Fantasy Opus 2 booster packs, which just had free written on the side of them, on the front of them.
Yeah.
So I got them, and they were just garbage.
Someone must have known or something.
clearly reseals.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh look, Edward.
There was tons of the Final Fantasy starter boxes as well, wasn't there?
There was a lot.
Yeah, but
All the way until the very end.
Yeah.
I don't. The thing that gets me about them though, the price. Obviously they were sealed, so they were sealed new, but they were £8. They're 11 quid new.
Really?
Yeah. But you can get them for discount in places as well, so you can get them down to about £9.50. So £8 wasn't really tempting.
Yeah, not really.
I think the end on Sunday they were up to, they were down to £5.
Oh, you should have bought some then.
Um,
Perfect for
Yeah.
teaching you and Tyney.
Yeah.
at that point I had no money left. I had £2
Which you spent on decks. No, what you spent it on? Tokens.
tokens,
Random D&D tokens.
random D&D tokens.
Reader.
I want to get the tokens for that. There's like a little box, like it looks like that, but it weighs. It's very hefty, the weight,
Yeah.
but it's like 20 quid. I'm like, that book wasn't cheap. Fucking
No.
So, any gripes with Airecon? Or are we quite happy with the nice relaxed atmosphere?
It's nice and relaxed. Yeah, no real gripes.
Bigger bring and buy.
Bigger bring and buy.
Mm.
Although something that they could introduce just to all bring and buys is maybe like a locker system for you to put your big heavy game bag in, so it's out of the way.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
out,
UK Games Expo does that, doesn't it?
yeah, like
Yeah.
having somewhere
Store
to
your
put-
purchases here.
Well, no, I'm more thinking like, oh, you're coming in with like a big backpack on there.
Yeah.
There's not very much space.
Oh, you mean...
Could we take your backpack, put it to the side with obviously staff, and then at the end you can just go.
So
"Can I have my
sort of
backpack
like
back?"
a
Cloakroom.
yes.
Like just a bring and buy cloakroom. So as they're checking in games, you just go, can I put my bag
Yeah.
down behind you, please? Because I don't want to
keep
knock
taking
everyone out.
You are allowed to do that, but you must understand that we will judge your gaming purchases. Why is there a big-titted anime person on that playmat
Why?
with
isn't
a Nazi symbol on it?
There was not one of them at the bring and buy.
But there is one in your collection of mats.
Yes.
Which you used on November 11th, didn't you, Anth?
I did.
You're an idiot.
Yep.
Anything else about Airecon? Moving on swiftly.
I want to give a shout out to the demoers because
Yeah.
the Warhammer guy was amazing. I thought.
He didn't stop all day.
Yeah.
Aside from on the last day, I caught him and he sat down. I seen him sit down in the chair and he went, "Oh, I've got to drive home." And that was it. It was like, that's a man who's realised he still has to go home.
Asmodee?
It might be
The
Asmodee.
people who demoed this.
The people who demoed the Discover Lands
Which is
Unknown.
I was going to say, do you want to pull it on camera? Just not just tap it off.
Like we demoed it, we beeline straight for this
On the
Sunday.
Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
And it was really good, really fun game. So we ran and demoed it.
Yeah, so after demoing, we then hit the bring and buy and discovered this version of it and was like, yes.
So, well, we're going to play that channel sometime?
Yeah, it's definitely worth it. It's very unique. It's like Keyforge in the fact that only that copy exists. There is no other copy that will be exactly the same. There'll be similarities.
Yeah.
Because obviously it's like a limited pool, but
that
version is unique.
I'm sorry, I just remember trying to explain Keyforge to people. I'm like, yeah, there's your deck. There'll be no other deck like that in the world. No, that can't be right. There'll be very similar decks. Well, then it's the same deck. No.
No, it could be different by only one card, but that is still
It's
a
still
unique.
different.
It's still different.
But yeah, Airecon was good.
It was very good.
Yeah.
UK Games Expo is soon. 12 weeks away, 11 weeks away.
Oh god, I need to buy my. I've got my event tickets. I haven't actually got my ticket to get into.
Yeah, neither we.
Yeah, we should
Have you
probably
not?
buy
No.
that.
We should probably buy that, yeah.
We should probably buy that ticket.
Anything other than Airecon people would like to discuss?
There's obviously I've started getting into the Horus Heresy again recently. Then there was the Humble Bundle, which I think is still on for the Horus Heresy.
Is it what is it? Is it like
It's the
Black Library books?
Black Library.
Oh,
books.
right, cool.
So it's got the first 5 in order, and then after that they're just like random in bits. But you then get wallpapers, which come in massive amounts of resolutions, like all the way from having it specifically for your iPhone or like Samsung, all the way up to like massive TVs, and they're like, why? And then a couple of audio box.
Yeah, let's not go into bloody resolution. Fucking Final Fantasy 14. Oh, what's that? You want to run me in a window? Oh no, you can't. It's like somebody's. You know those old timey picture things? There's like a roulette where it's like things like jumping through. Yeah. Imagine that at half the speed, and there you go. There's Final Fantasy 14 if you try and play it in anything other than the resolution it wants to.
Oh god.
That sounds like my new laptop. Just anything. So yeah.
Would you like to show people your lovely bracelets, by the way? Just how much of a Warhammer boy you are.
That one.
Oh, no.
Yeah, well, I've got the corn one, so you dig.
Yeah.
So what corn would want? That seriously just rotated back to. I just altered it and it just.
I thought you would more want skulls, really, or blood and skulls.
Well, if you eat a dick and buy it off, then there's blood.
You've become very Warhammer obsessed.
I have.
You've got the conquest. You've got your books.
Have you seen? Well, there's a new game called Warcry coming out.
I saw briefly something on it.
When they first announced it, and they said essentially it's a return. They hinted that it was a return to Mordheim.
Ooh.
But then they turn around and go, "Oh, by the way, it's all Chaos Warbands." And you're like, okay, my interest has just plummeted there.
That's just like went no plummet. And it's set in Age of Sigmar as well?
Yeah, Age of Sigmar. So you sat there looking at it going, why is it just Chaos Warbands? Chaos is meant to be like the dominant force in Age of Sigmar currently.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that there's hundreds of thousands of clansmen or warbands and stuff like that. But I don't give a fuck about them.
No.
If they turn around and went, oh, there's a Chaos War faction, I'll be like, well, there you go, I'm in again. But no, they've just shown off like there's 6 different warbands, and I'm sat there going, but
they all look very similar.
Yeah, exactly. There's nothing particularly striking about any of them.
Yeah.
I will reserve judgment until it's out and I can actually play it.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to be rushing out to buy it.
No. I'll just stick to what I've got, which isn't much. But I've got stuff.
Well, there's the new set out this shadowspear out this weekend, which has Chaos and Space Marines in it. New fancy Space Marines that are all covert ops.
Big shoulder head still?
Of course.
Yeah.
And blue. Shh, we're being stealthy. Wait. Welcome to the 41st millennium, which is ash, broken metal, and fire.
Right.
You're royal blue, but I've got a cape. You're still blue. Be very, very quiet. I'm hunting chaos.
Maybe they're thinking they're blue screening instead of green screening.
I suppose it's all like the old red coat thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like, we're the army. Yeah, we can see you coming a mile off.
They're so powerful, they don't need to hide. They're fine.
To be fair, on the other side, the leader of the chaos pretty much is on fire, so...
Oh.
You know
Just
what I
a
mean?
beacon in the night.
Just subtlety is out of the window there.
he's got like a goat skull on, and these massive braziers on his shoulders, and they're just on fire, and he's like floating along the battlefield, and it's like... Yeah, you're not gonna... You just won Who's the Pro Tag. But it looks interesting. Warcry looks interesting. I'm not too fussed about the Chaos thing. Shadowspear, I think people are just going mad over it because of the new models.
Yeah.
And there's a new Abaddon on the way as well.
Mm.
I don't like his model. But that's just me.
Yeah.
Everybody else is like, oh my god, Abaddon! And I'm like, he looks like a doofus.
Every time I think of it, I just keep remembering the image I saw, which is a picture of him and it says Abaddon, and then a picture of someone pushing a little button in the back of his chest going Abad off.
Yeah, well, it's a grenade actually.
Is it?
Quite literally, I would laugh so much more if he just pulled the pin.
Abad off.
But yeah, what else? There is the Final Fantasy pre-release for Opus 8 this weekend, which may or may not include the new intro decks. Nobody... Okay, I won't vent my anger on here, but yeah. Let's just say I don't know if the intro decks are out. It would be nice if my local did.
Oh.
But that's out. It's out this weekend, the pre-release.
Mm-hmm.
The Opus 8 is officially out the week after.
Right.
Which I'm sure it's usually 2 weeks instead of a week. Or is it just usually a week? Yeah. There's a store at Huddersfield called IQ Games doing a intro deck starter day. So essentially you go down and you buy a deck, like intro deck, and everybody's just using intro decks and no extra cards.
Oh, cool.
Which I might go down and check out actually.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, it's on a Saturday. 27th? Yeah. Anyway. Anything else before I keep listing stuff off?
I'm not going to listen.
No, got enough in my brain.
Any
Come
plans for the future for Bad Karma? Any thoughts going around?
I've got a long list of news to go through before that, if that's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because we can wrap up with that.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
New Keyforge set?
Oh, yes. Oh,
Oh,
I
yeah.
forgot about that for the record, yeah.
Yes, we
Oh.
can forge.
Oh, it's in a blue box. Blue! Blue! Blue everywhere!
But a yellow chair.
Oh yeah, that's fucking stupid, that.
Do you mean it's great? Just no
Um,
one's going to have the amber for it.
I like the idea... Have you seen the house sets where you get the playmat, the deck box, and I think it's probably a chain tracker or something?
No.
No.
It's one of the prizes on the prize wall.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
And some of the art for some of the playmats is gorgeous.
Oh, what the one with the
The Brobnow one where all the band members playing.
I wanted like the set out one where it's got the places for things. But the artwork on that is really nice.
You realise they handed paper ones them out at the launch
I know,
events.
I wanted one, but no one could get
Okay.
one.
Because our place didn't do the
I'm-
launch event with them.
They did, but they only had like 8.
And they kept them.
No, they handed them the first come, first serve.
Oh. I
We
didn't
went
get
very
that.
late.
I was very late.
Yeah, well, there was the Saturday and the Sunday. You didn't turn up till the Sunday, did you?
No.
No.
So yeah, you completely missed the boat there, didn't you?
That ship had definitely sailed.
There's a Bloodborne miniatures game coming from Cool Mini or Not
Oh.
onto Kickstarter.
Is that the vampire lady? Is that right? No. What am I thinking of?
No, it's like Dark Souls, but more bloody,
Oh, okay, fair enough.
I think. Yeah. That's about an apps. I've never played Bloodborne.
Imagine Dark Souls but with Victorian spiffiness.
Ooh.
There you go.
I like the drawings.
One of your weapons is a cane. L5R, there's a new... Was it a crane pack? Yeah, there was a crane pack announced.
Mm.
There's obviously the Children of the Empire was released the other week. I really don't know what to think about L5R currently, because knowing that somebody who was a very avid player told me at Airecon that he just gave up playing him. Like, oh, alright.
Oh.
How's training going for UK games?
I haven't had a game in weeks.
Oh dear.
And to be perfectly honest, the new set came out and I was looking through the cards and just sat there going, this is just a new dimension in this game that I just can't be asked to keep up with. I'm not playing the game enough.
Yeah.
And there was a event that I missed at Sheffield, but then again Sheffield's a bit of a trek for me. Test of Honor has a second edition that got announced.
Don't know what that is.
You make me sick.
Oh.
It's a historical samurai game, skirmish game,
Mm.
made by Warlord Games.
Oh, okay.
It uses... I think they acquired a company called War Games Factory, and when they acquired War Games Factory, they got all these molds for samurai models and things like that, and they went, let's make a game.
As you do.
Because I've got the first edition starter set, and I was building the models, and I'm like, and then I got a pack of models that I've just been sat in collecting dust, and like, these are exactly the same sprues, it's just that one says War Games Warlord, and that one says War Games Factory. And it's like, but second edition, it looks like a fun game. Apparently, your guys level up as you play the game, and so they like carry on wound injuries or heroic deed and stuff like that.
Okay.
I haven't had a chance to play it, but it's all sat ready to go really. What else? There's a Flames of War thing, but nobody cares about Flames of War.
That sound of just crumpled paper.
Yeah.
Flames of War, crush.
Yeah, there's so many games that I have played over the years, and I'm like, why do I even bother keeping up with news on these things? Because I'm never going to play the game again.
Yeah, there's the usual thing of that. I know a few people will, every year when SmoggyCon comes round, they'll pick up a new game, and then you start packs for them, play it 2-3 times, and then put it in a shelf, gather in dust, and then the next year they get the next one.
Is it released on a yearly cycle? Or?
No, it's not like a new game. It's just like a new, like a couple of year totally different game. Like one year it's a big war game. Right. Next year it's like a little skirmish game.
Do you know a game that I keep saying that we should play? Gretchen's.
Which is what?
That's the one where it's the little, you build little cardboard cars.
Oh, that looked fun. That yeah.
And you go along a card track.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It looks fun.
It
Did
is.
you buy it, or
Sorry?
did you buy it?
No, I didn't pick it up. We saw it Games Expo, but I bought so much at Games Expo last year.
Are you saving pennies now?
Probably not.
No.
I keep talking myself out of buying Blackstone Fortress, so yeah, no.
Well, Blackstone Fortress is getting an expansion?
Traitor Commander.
I think it's a standalone expansion. So you can play it, or you can play...
I don't know how you'll be able to do that without Blackstone Fortress.
Neither do I, but that's just something...
Are you sure it's not they're compatible with Warhammer 40k?
That might be more realistic.
I've only seen like the sort of announcement for it, but I know there's Blackstone Fortress currently. There's the dreaded Armbull expansion, and then there's Traitor Commander expansion coming out. And yeah, I really want to play Blackstone Fortress, but I have a booster box of Opus 8 to buy first. Because if it's anything like Opus 7 and those boosters just disappear from the face of the earth and nobody can seem to get them, or try hard enough to get any, then yeah, I need to make sure my bases are covered.
Yeah.
Fucking Opus 7. I think there's one more. There's a Kickstarter that I want to do. Mysthia, Legends from the Borderlands. Rebuild a war-torn city and win fame for your guild in this geomantic fantasy tabletop RPG. It's currently live on Kickstarter. I'll shot a link in the description. But it's being distributed by Mophidius and made by J. Isles. That's a terrible business name. You can actually look at quite a lot of the art already and some of the excerpts from the rules and all that. It looks really interesting. The art is beautiful for the most part.
Art's always nice in the books.
But yeah, apparently there's 9 heroes, but then each hero can choose to be a part of a house. So there's quite a lot of variation on what you can actually do.
Okay.
And some of the some of the heroes, like the classes, sound very interesting and not the normal.
Yeah.
Like the Firebrand, a political agitator and social infiltrator.
Oh, okay.
The Awoken, an ancient creature of stone and metal animated by Quorm?
Quorm? Yeah.
Quorm?
Yeah. Tarmac sausages.
Oh.
The Martyr, a self-sacrificing visionary. And it goes on like that. There's I haven't had a chance to read all of it, but some of the art, like...
Ooh, that's quite nice.
Ooh, that's very nice.
I'll throw it up on screen so you can just... oh, that's very lovely, that.
Oh, that's nice. Isn't that grand?
Put kettle on Granville. But at the end of me sprawling on, that's end of news, really.
Yeah.
So, Tyne, take it away.
Any future plans?
Only to take over the world.
Deja vu?
Yeah.
Well, the first thing that Warhammer Champions, we're going to do Kraken out the box for that,
Yes.
and then maybe play an actual proper game of Champions.
That is the plan.
Anth?
Games. Like I don't know. I think, but like hopefully we could try and squeeze out some of the more piles of board games that we've just got set on the shelves. Start from the small stuff and then work our way up to the...
We need to do another Unstable Unicorns, knowing it's our most popular video.
Yes, we do.
What is wrong with you people? Our quality content wasted on Unstable Unicorns.
But that's the unicorn.
Yeah.
Well, you do have the Kickstarter coming
I do.
eventually.
I forgot about that actually, yeah, thank you.
Somebody outside obviously likes Unstable Unicorns as well.
Yeah.
I meant to pick up Not Safe for Work, but...
Yeah, we didn't get the...
I was looking at that in Travelling Man in York, and I'm like, does Tyne have this? I can't remember if Tyne's got this.
I felt like I got it for Christmas. Apparently I imagined it.
I think we both imagined it. I think we both willed it so much. That...
Yeah, you messaged me going, oh yeah, I've got that. I'm like, oh cool, then turn. I'm like, I think I imagined it. I imagined I bought Blackstone Fortress. No, it's still not there.
But yeah, just play lots of games.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
Chilled out.
strategy games, just start with some small ones and then build up until eventually we crack out Arcadia Quest.
I do want to do some grand games like Arcadia Quest, Blackstone Fortress, Gloomhaven.
Yeah.
Resident Evil board game I would actually really like to play. And if we can get Lee here, for fuck's sake, and play Dark Souls, the four of us.
Yeah.
Dark Souls is good. It's quite good. Very good.
Yeah.
Would I enjoy the...
When it goes right, yes.
Okay.
When it goes wrong, no. Nobody enjoys it when it goes wrong.
It's just like a really big puzzle.
I like that then.
Just done with pointy swords and...
The thing that gets me about the game...
Dark
Yeah.
Souls.
Yeah, darky.
Yeah, the thing that got me about the game was playing it, and I'm sat there looking at it going, the fuck does this card mean? What does it mean? Lee, what does it mean? I don't know, read the rulebook. I've read the rulebook! Okay, well tell me what it means. I'm asking you!
Well, I'm looking forward to playing that.
Oh, there's nothing worse than going, what does this card mean? And the person looking at you going, I don't know, what does it mean?
You just sat there and you're like, are you here?
Anyway, I think that's pretty much...
Yeah, so it's
Pretty
cracking.
much.
We'll
Yeah.
continue on with the... We'll keep doing Keyforge as well now and again, but I think we will diversify as usual.
Yeah.
Yes. Because we have lots of Keyforge, but...
Yeah, well, the thing is with Keyforge is as much as I enjoy that tournament on Airecon,
Yeah.
I won't be playing in any local tournaments.
No.
I'll tell you off camera.
Juicy goss.
Yeah, I think I've actually already told... Yeah, I've actually already told you.
Yeah, I think you did.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did.
Fucking grown man.
But yeah.
Anyway, thank you for joining us, and join us again soon for Evil
Yes.
and Smoothies.
Smoothies, yeah.
Smoothie.
Smoothie evil.
Smooth Evil, like smooth jazz. Smooth jazz is evil. The Illuminati's real.
Half-Life 3 confirmed.
That is the usual follow-up to The Illuminati's real, isn't it? See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.